be ready. You don't know when it's going to happen. It could be a budget meeting. It could be an intense performance review where it's not going well. You never know when God's created the opportunity for you to share your story. This vignette's a beautiful one where time is ticking. In business, time is very critical, and 15 minutes to 14 minutes to 13 minutes, and you got to have an answer. Pressure's there. You can't look stupid in front of your boss's boss on a $2 million cut. But God worked in his head to make them think that fast, and then all of a sudden they had extra time.
Hey Sandy, my apologies for being late. It's been one of those days.
That's all right, Steve.
A little bit stressful, but this shouldn't take too long since we're almost done with budgets.
Well, let me tell you about the call that I just got a few minutes ago. I just got word handed down that we need to take another $2 million off of what you've already reduced.
Another $2 million.
Another $2 million. So we need to talk real quickly because we got a meeting in 15 minutes. So we need to figure out what are we going to do, where it's going to come from.
Okay. Let's talk.
All right.
I think that it's important to demonstrate the glory of God's kingdom through your actions. You're a person of faith, of values. You're following the life of in my case, of a man of God. And it's important to show how much better your life can be, not only at work, but at home, your personal relationships, your family relationships, how much better it is. Because you see people at work that are just stressed out, high-strung, backstabbing sometimes, and they're not happy. They're not happy. Even those that appear to be happy, if they're following their own agenda, you can tell they're not happy. And true happiness comes from a person that has God's character in their heart.
So we got another $750,000.
$750,000. I'll have to delay. The only other place that I can look at right now is in my labor force, and I certainly don't want to impact my existing staff. It might be the hiring of new staff. We could delay somewhere along those lines to handle the new business.
I used to think that a Christian, they would be weak at work. They'd just roll over and say, "Love you." And that's not what God wants. What God wants is to follow His agenda, demonstrate the glory of His kingdom, but yet you still can hold people accountable. There's God's way of holding people accountable, and then there's your way of holding people accountable.
You just kind of seem different overall. What's going on in your world?
Different?
Yeah.
What do you mean different?
You seem a little different. You're much more calm.
Yeah, well, versus that over the other budget seasons, the budget-driven, hard-headed, get it done, bottom line kind of guy.
Yeah.
Since we kind of cut $2 million in 9 minutes, we got 6 minutes. You got 6 more minutes. I'll tell you what has changed in my life.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
Yeah, well, these budget season can be very, very stressful, and as our other meetings. It was a budget meeting, matter of fact, that I was in, and one of those, fist-pounding meetings, and I got up to leave the meeting. Somebody asked me, said, "Steve, you got a minute?" I said, "Sure." Of course, in the back of my head, I said, "Oh, what? I don't need this." And we went in this person's office and talked a little bit about the numbers on the budget. And right at the end of the meeting, he asked, "Hey, Steve, how's your spiritual well-being?" I said, "Spiritual well-being?" And quite frankly, Sandy, I was embarrassed to answer that question because I didn't know what my spiritual well-being was. And,
After that meeting, I went back to the office and I was sitting there, and how do I answer that question? What is my spiritual well-being? And that started my journey to figure things out, if you will. How do I figure out, is my spiritual well-being where it needs to be?
my whole life was focused on work. It affected myself, others around me, more importantly, my family.
First things I realized was work had become an idol to me. Work was everything to me. And it was affecting myself, my family, obviously my faith.
I have appreciated when people have approached me at work and just as part of a normal conversation, just to ask the question, how's your spiritual life? How are you feeling? Are you okay? And that type of thing. I think that, to me, that is non-threatening. It is a way to open the door to give people an opportunity to talk if they want to talk, or to say everything's fine, and then that can be the end of the conversation if they're not comfortable going there. So for me, it's the just opening that door just slightly, and to let me know that, you know, there's that opportunity to have the conversation if I'm so inclined.
And little ways that I've changed. Right before I came into this meeting, I said, talking prayer, the Lord, just calm me down. It's been a stressful day. Don't let me take it out on Sandy. And then when you said, hey, we got to cut $2 million, silent prayer. And Sandy, quite frankly, you know, God's first in my life now, not work. And that's what's changed about me. I'm following God's agenda. I'm not following my agenda. And thank you for noticing. But hey, we got about 2 more minutes. So, hey, let me ask you a question. How's your spiritual well-being?
We only have another minute or two,
Well,
but can we make plans to
Sure.
maybe?
We got break opportunities. I'd love to share my faith and share, you know, some of your observations as well too. That would be great.
I would love to do that. Thank you for reaching out.
Okay.